Greetings, Dr. Jeffrey Scott here. This is my Market MRI Pro update for Tuesday night, Monday night, January 12th, 2026. Sorry I didn't get something done on Sunday like I thought, but I arrived out at San Francisco early in the morning and didn't get to a hotel room until late at night. And to put it mildly, I collapsed. And I had to do a Metastock event earlier today and had to get up really early because it was at 10 Eastern or 7 PST. So here we go. I was going to do a video last night. I got halfway done and just couldn't do it. And I was going to show you some of the new updates in version 22, which I'll do tonight. For those of you who attended the Metastock event today, I was shocked at the turnout. It was a great turnout for early in the morning. And to those new folks that signed up on Top Down Trader, there was a bunch of you. Appreciate that. Couple things just to remind everybody. I'm independent. I have tools and wealth charts. I've got tools in Metastock. I have my own trading app, and I've got indicator package for TradeStation with a great scanner as well as TradingView indicators. The most expensive package I have is the program I'm going to use tonight, which is my full freestanding app with real-time data. Much of the functionality can be found in Metastock at a much lower price for my app, but obviously you have to subscribe to Metastock. Much of it can be done in wealth charts. Um, TradeStation and TradingView, we have a different approach, and TradingView, the scanner, isn't probably there yet. So I trade the same way regardless of program. I'll bounce around on which program I use, but the nice thing about my app is I don't have to update the data. It's already ready, and I'm tired and want to go to bed, so that's what I'm going to do tonight. So I title this sort of weak open, stronger close, which by the way is a sign of a good market. New highs again, but breadth was mixed. Again, my name is Jeffrey Scott, marketmripro@gmail.com. My Google group is Top Down Trader, www.marketmripro.com. As always, it's for educational purposes only. Anything I talk about should be taken in the spirit of education. I use these videos to show you how I use my tools for top-down analysis. Trading involves risk. You are solely responsible for any investment decisions you make. I may own or intend to buy or sell any stock mentioned in this report. Trading is risky. You should always have consultations with your financial advisors before you put your hard-earned money at risk. And as I mentioned, I've got tools in multiple platforms. Google Group is called Top Down Trader. Just sign into Google Groups, click all groups, go to Top Down Trader or find Top Down Trader. Let me know how you want to be contacted. There's typically no more than one, or if it's an unusual night, two videos during a day and night combined. So whether you take individual emails or digest, you're going to get the same. Every time I post a video on YouTube, I'll give you a link in Top Down Trader, and I'll start the invites to the mentorship that I'm doing January 31st for free in Top Down Trader. I'm all about top down, and some of the things that will drive the performance of the market is news and earnings. Um, I think the news is going to be interesting tomorrow because we're going to get the CPI for December and some new home sales, but those are old, more Fed head speakers. And we're going to hear JP Morgan Chase and Delta um, before the open. So it could be an interesting start of the day. I'll be on an airplane coming home, but the good news is internet works on airplanes and you can trade. So I actually love those days going cross country. It's a judgment call to hold stocks over earnings dates. It's bad judgment to not know when your stock's earnings date is scheduled. Um, I'll be on commercial, but JetBlue Mint is my favorite way to fly if I can't fly in our company plane. And we put Starlink in our company plane, so it's just like sitting at my home computer. So I can do everything, including videos and Zoom conferences from that one. JP Morgan's Jamie Dimon spoke today. He gave a great talk, always does, to kick off the meeting. And no hints about the earnings, but we'll find that out soon enough. But he did say he's not running for president. Laughed when somebody asked him. For more information about anything I talk about, any of my products, any of the um, different platforms, which one's right for you, and That's a real question. For example, what I like most about Metastock, well, for me, the scanning is great. I have trend lines automated in Metastock, which allows me to look for bounces and breaks, which I think is great. Um, but what I really like about it is I have a number of fans, followers that are from India, and they can trade India stocks because they have India data. Same thing with Australians who want to trade Australia stocks. Or you can live in the States and trade Australia stocks. So there's a lot of things to like about Metastock. Plus, you have so many different people that are contributing with add-ons, so you can mix and match. And I call myself a mutt because I put together what works for me, and I get to sit and listen to lots of smart people, and that creates a lot of what I end up doing. So, any questions for me at marketmripro@gmail.com. If you want help from Praveen, our programmer of the stars, at coding@marketmripro.com. So again, those that were at the Metastock program, the fact that I'm using my app tonight does not mean I don't love Metastock. It means I'm tired and I want to get this done quickly and thoroughly. Plus, I had some new features to show. So start up in the upper left-hand corner. This updates real time during the day. Now, I don't do streaming, and that keeps the data cheap. I mean, included in the package. But you update it whenever you want just by clicking that, and it'll happen very quickly. Bitcoin led the market higher today, up 1.39. It has been mixed over the last 5 days, down 3%. Russell led to the upside, up 0.49. The VIX was up a little bit. Diamonds were up 0.18, spiders 0.16, and the Qs were up 0.18. If you look at where these things opened, volatility opened much higher and all the indexes opened lower. So it was a strong close and a weak open. Dollar was down 0.18. Over here, you can see the number of new highs at 52 weeks or 12 months on the NYSE minus new lows is over 100. That's great. Eased up a little bit on the NASDAQ today, only 86. But both of those are positive. If we look over here, the most important thing is the third group down, and it shows that only 49% of the S&P 1500, 49% of the NASDAQ, and 55% of the NYSE were up. So a very mixed day. So that's where my breadth concern came in. In fact, you've got more stocks down than up overall in the S&P 1500 and in the NASDAQ. If we look at the S&P 500 sectors, we can see the markets were led higher by staples, followed by industrials and materials and technology. The laggards were financials and energy. And if we look at themes, cannabis, who cares, was the highest percent, followed by China. Silver up 4.7, gold up a lot, 3.79, solar 3.66, gold 3.41. Here's a different gold, rather copper up 3.26. So you can see there were a number of different ETFs that were up massive. Here's our friend data center was up 1.47, and the defense and aerospace up 1.5%. If we look at what was lagging, nothing was down more than 1%, but fintech and biotech, millennials, consumers, Internet of Things were the laggards. We didn't get any big acquisitions. Bummer, bummer, bummer. And they really grilled the Revolution Medicine CEO about all the things that have been whipping the stock market with their acquisition by AbbVie one day, Merck the next, and probably nobody in reality. If we look now at the timing model, there's no difference in the timing model between Metastock and in the app, and that we do have a non-repainting signal at the close of a bar. In Metastock, I kind of like, I may switch this to have the visuals of Metastock in that you only see when the signal happens, and then you don't see another signal until the opposite happens. This is the daily chart. We'll talk about price and volume in a few minutes, but you could see the daily on the spider is a buy, the Qs is a buy, the Russell's a buy, and the diamonds is a buy. If I look at the weekly, same thing, broad-based, everything says it's okay to be long. So my timing model is long. I have no shorts, um, and I have some cash. I still am a little concerned about what happens later on in the month, so I like to give some cash. Plus, hey, it's Mr. Tax time, and when you're up a lot in a year and you do a lot of option trading, you're going to pay some taxes. I love paying taxes because it means I made a lot of money last year. If I look at US index ETFs, let's just go through the run. Spiders, all-time closing high, all-time trading high. This is seasonality, a predictive pricing model. So probably still going higher, though we're going to get some choppy for the next week, is a prediction based upon seasonality. Um, you could see prices above the prior highs. We'll probably take this out soon. But notice it was support on Friday and Monday. We closed at a nice day. You've got in green, you have the 21-day, excuse me, in whatever color this is the 21-day exponential. Green is the 17-day simple. And you could see they often run together as they are here. This is the 50-day, 100-day, and 200-day. So lots of support. I look at this and I see a bullish looking market that wants to go higher. If I look at the Qs, we're breaking out of this triangle. My next expectation is we'll run up and test the prior highs. Qs are lagging in that they're not have not set a new high yet, but they look strong as well. The diamonds had some new highs today. You can see a new closing high, and I believe either at or near a new all-time high. The high here was 496.33, and I'm just looking up here to see the numbers. And the high here was 496.25. So we got new all-time highs and new all-time closing highs. Again, very bullish with the nice moving average pattern underneath, which would support price. That is the diamonds. The Russell, also new closing high today. High today was 261.66. It closed 16 cents off of that. The prior high, 261.56. So I guess we set, not, not, yeah, I think we set an all-time high, an all-time closing high. So what a beautiful couple of days in the U.S. markets. If we look at volatility, you want this to be coming down. Well, in the morning when the markets were weak, there was a lot of things that went on. Was it President Trump talking about indicting Powell? Maybe. Was it concerns about Iran? Certainly. Was it disappointing that there was no takeouts mentioned today in biotech? Probably. So there's a lot of, is it Venezuela? It's a lot of whipsaws in the market. So markets open lower, volatility went up, failed up here at the 21 day and came actually at the 100 day and came right back down. And on the day, it was up a little bit, 4%, but well off the highs. The dollar, which will look like it's making a move here, although it eased today down 0.48. When you look a little bit further back, you can see the dollar is way off of its prior highs. So I look at the markets there, I'm bullish. Let's take a look at the commodities. Now, again, in Metastock and wealth charts, TradeStation and TradingView, I can create all these exact charts. There's nothing special here about the app, except I'm going for ease of use and quickly tonight. So gold set an all-time high. Is that a shooting star? This is a potential reversal candle. Let's think it opened here, traded all the way up here, but they couldn't hold it and it closed back here. That to me is a reversal candle. And when I see that, I expect it to come down. Now, does it just come back down in this chop area? Probably. I don't think it breaks down. Is there a guarantee it doesn't go higher? No, it could go higher. I just think that seems like a top, short-term top to me. If I look at silver, I see a much more attractive candle. Now, will this turn out to be an island and we reverse tomorrow? I don't know. We could, but this to me is a much more bullish looking picture. Silver has been incredible. If we look at oil looks like it's stabilizing, maybe getting ready to make a move. It's got to break out above the 200 and head higher. But look at this bar here, which is 5-year seasonality. We're going into a strong period of time. But if you look at all time in 10 years, not so strong. So mixed expectations. We'll see what happens. Natural gas, which has been dead, had a nice bounce today after a pretty significant down day on Friday. Closed up today 0.7 or 7.5%. has a ways to go before I pay attention. And then I like to look at the 10-year and 30-year rates. You can see a 10-year white candle is up 0.41 today, but closing off the highs. How do I know that? Because it's solid. And if I look here, also going to be up today is a 30-year up 0.37. Now I'm going to jump into some of my breadth indicators. One is called the buckets. Imagine that every stock in the S&P 500 is going to be classified by its percent B. Where does it fall between the Bollinger Bands? Divide that up into 10 deciles, and you'll have 1 through 10. Stocks can trade below or above the Bollinger Bands. That just doesn't happen very often. And let's just call that box 0 and box 11. So this shows me in the various indexes where the stocks are piled. I look for an excessive amount above or below. I see a bullish pattern without excess. We're at 16% above on the NYSE, so that's an interesting number and one that suggests we should pay attention. But then what happens? We look again, and now we're down to 8%. Excuse me, to 14%. Over here we got 8%. Here we dropped from 13 to 12, and here from 18 to 13. So my impression is we came off of some of the over bought conditions, and we did it with the market, not doing badly. In the worst case, with the market going sideways. That's pretty good. All right, let's look at the next market breadth tool. This is looking at on the left the NYSE, on the right the NASDAQ, both the composites of thousands of stocks. NYSE is just a monster right now, setting another all-time high. The NASDAQ is getting there. I've asked Praveen to give me drawing because I suspect it broke out of that trend line today. So both look strong. If we look at the percentages above the 17, 50, and 200, those numbers are getting higher. And we're starting to get to an area where I might be a little nervous that we might be getting stretched. Not as much on the NASDAQ composite. And you could see on both up new high, new lows positive, AD lines positive, and up down volume. We did have a new signal here that's called the Bango on the NYSE. The Bango is a bullish exuberance. When I see it at all-time highs after a long run, it starts to feel like it's getting excessive. So hence why I've kept a little bit of cash, maybe 30% in my account. When I am bullish, like I was on April 8th, I'll go in 150%, even 200% if I can get that much margin. I'm not margin right now. I think there's still risk. If I look at the deeper market breadth tool, what I really focus on here is this green thing called the 13-week new high, new low. It's actually come down a little bit. Look at the curves, and you'll see despite higher highs, we've dropped to 0.85 on the spiders, on the S&P 1500, 0.89, on the Russell, 0.80, and 0.66 on the NASDAQ. Again, another thing that says we've come off a little bit of our overboughtness. So let's put it all together. I'm bullish this market. We eased off some of the overbought. I expect us to go higher, even though the futures are lower right now. Now, that could change in an hour, in a month. I don't know when, but that's why I have my timing model. The daily signals will change very quickly if this market goes the wrong way. Now, I can look at the various sectors. Again, I tried to show this today, but I had to do it in the PowerPoint. Exact same tool is in Metastock, but we can see on the signals, Bitcoin is in a buy, technology is in a buy, um, discretionary looks super strong in a buy. Communications looks good. Industrials good in a buy. Financials has been in a buy for some time. Energy holding into a buy. Materials. So we're doing really well on a broad basis. Now, real estate actually popped into a buy signal today. I think the jury's still out. Utilities are weak, staples are breaking out, and healthcare has pulled back some. So I always do this to look if there's any clear-cut winners. Another thing that I'll look at is ratio charts comparing the S&P sector to the various versus the spider. And when I do this, I see the superstar strength in materials and industrials and discretionary picking up. And that's the kind of places that I'd be looking to hunt as a top-down investor. Now, I also like to look at the big stocks, so I call this key stock timing. And so let's just look at these real quick. Um, I don't have all my indicators on it. I'll just tell you what I think on price and volume. Amazon looks like it may have a short-term reversal, not a lot of damage today, but down just a bit. In a buy signal well above the moving average. The bongos are blue. Just don't like that candle. Apple trying to make a comeback. We had another day that was up. We've got some impressive bottoming tails here, but well below the moving averages. And that one's showing you the 17 in green, the 21 exponential in tan, and the 30 period WMA, and making the argument they're all about the same. And we're below all of them here. If I look at Google, one of my positions we talked about the last couple of days, nice move today, partnership with Apple. We look at the next one, it's Meta. Meta was down a lot today. It's struggling under the moving averages. To me, it's no buy until it gets above those moving averages. Netflix, arbitrage, fighting with Paramount over Warner Brothers. To me, that puts it solidly in the no buy zone, even though it's got great seasonality. Tesla trying to get back above. I think Tesla looks fine. If I held it, I probably would have had a little chest pain, but I would be holding it now, and I might be looking to add some soon if the market holds up. Nvidia, kind of a neutral day. It looks like this bar, the close on this bar was 184.83, and the close on this bar was 184.94, actually up 11 cents. Really did nothing, kind of biding its time. And Microsoft, it's trying, but look how far Microsoft has fallen. It's still in a sell mode. This is Lebu. This has been one of my biggest positions. It is not today. I watched my portfolio open down, move higher, pull back because of some of my biotech plays, and closed higher. Very volatile day, big swings, and you could see what happened in LABU. It opened right here, right, just below the prior close. It traded all the way down here and closed remarkably close to where it opened, still holding the buy. Big Pharma, as I've been saying, it's been holding up better perhaps, had an okay day. And then two of my favorites, data center, and I'm going to show you what we've developed to pile on to the comment, my favorites. And then the other one that I really like a lot is been ITA, and we talked about these a week ago on the weekend, and we looked at some of the stocks and components, and I hope you took some. I know my HWM, I think, was at 120 today, and wasn't above 100, I think, when we started talking about it. Now, first, before I go and I look at from the top down, let me show you the new feature. If you click, well, you don't have it until you get 122. If you click on ETFs, you'll see we have way too many, and that's a problem. And so Praveen and I are trying to figure out what the best filtering tool is. I got a few ideas. There's a lot of leverage things in here, but let's look for data center. And I could have typed it in, but I found it there for a reason. Watch the magic. You click on this thing here, which says split grid, and something popped in there. What popped in here? Apparently, am I in the right place? This is supposed to be the stocks in data center. That's Amex. I must have done something wrong. We try that again. Of course, it only messes up. Hold it there, and let's see what happens. There you go. These are the components of data center. So if you're following an ETF, and pretty much any ETF in that list, and you want to know what the components are, you can just go right into that and just go down one at a time. AMD, AMT, American Tower, APLD, and see if anything looks attractive to you. So that is the unbundle an ETF feature. What's also cool, and I gotta tell you, Praveen's brilliant. I did that a week ago on Sunday, and I was playing with that tool on Wednesday. Now here we are Monday. It's time to release it. It should be coming out, if not tonight, in the next couple of days. Imagine you don't know what Cody does, so you could look it up here, and it'll tell you that it makes beauty products and a few other things. You can go here and get the news. But what if I like Cody, but I don't want to buy that one because it's only $3.20? Show me something that's similar. So what are its peers? So I'll call this tool, oh, come on. I'll call this tool the create an ETF tool. So here we are, we're on Cody. We'll click the split view. And of course, it's not behaving. So Praveen will make sure he gets it. It's still beta. That's why you don't have it yet. But what we've done is we wanted to set this up. Let's try this here one more time. So that when you go to an ETF, here it is. And I think you have to be in the split view before you hit the ETF. It'll now tell you what are the things in the ETF with it. How cool is that? Or not what's in the ETF, but rather what are its peers, similar industry group stocks, etc. So pretty cool tool, and keeps getting better. All right, so the impulse for those that are new are all the stocks in the NYSE, the NASDAQ, and the Amex, and I filter it each night for $1 and 100,000 shares to bring it down to about 3,800, 3,600 stocks. We have 3,700 today. I then want to do a top-down analysis so I can break each of those stocks into sector and industry group. Now, the market's working well fairly broadly. It's not just the Mag 7. So let's look at all of those stocks. And if I rank by percentage move, not the S&P 500, but this big group, it's basic materials, it's defensive, and it's industrials. So let's pick those three groups. These are the industry groups in those top three sectors. Boom, boom. Let's take the top 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I see a lot of things that are involved, perhaps, in data centers. Now I have 164 stocks to review, but I don't want to do that many. So I'm going to filter them for $5 and 500,000, and now I have 96 stocks. Those that watch my video tonight know that I call these my impulses, and I truly believe that my biggest moves have more impulses. So let's rank them by bullish impulses. And let's just take a look at what we find. NB, is that New Balance? What is that? Come on. Hotel Internet sucks, by the way. Don't know what this company does. No Neocorp. I can highlight it. Resource company, lithium. No surprise. All right. Does it have revenue and earnings? I don't know because it's not been released yet. How about news? And the news says final assay results, preliminary updated financials, but it's too small for us to have captured it. It's a cheap stock. As I look at it, it's breaking out here. It's interesting. It's too small for my taste. Here's another lithium play, LAC, Lithium America. So lithium clearly seems to be moving. HMY, Harmony Gold, or yeah, Harmony Gold looks just like the gold signal. That looks like a reversal. TPC, an infrastructure build. Tudor Perini, nice breakout with momentum, volume, and momentum breakout and volume. Relative strength looks good. OBV looks good, not extended like that. Taylor Morrison Homes, nope. TMC, the metal company, my bad. Trying to break out, not as exciting. SU, or SLI rather, Standard Lithium. So obviously the lithiums. Now it's interesting it's not up at the top, but the king of lithium stocks, one of them is ALB. and you could see the kind of run it has. Now that looks pretty much like, oh my God, I can't believe I missed it. But it also went on a round trip. In fact, big round trip has a long way to go to get even close to where it was. SGML, Sigma Lithium, HYMC, Highcroft Mining, gold and silver miner. You can always pop up here to see what it does. Gold and silver. I can come up over here and look at the news. So it gives me an idea. Goldfields used to be a cheap gold stock, used to be single digits. Now it's 45. What a great move there. Fix, it's a very expensive stock that's got a beautiful uptrend. So I will go through this, ranking them by the impulses and see if I like anything. You know, there's a couple things that we looked at. Now, I could also kill the sectors, so there's no sectors, and just look at the industry groups by, take the top 5, for example. If I see anything else that looks different, I got 123, I'm ranked them by up. NextEra, one of the energy companies. Um, I always wonder if they pay a dividend, so I open it up, 2.8%. It's got some earnings per share growth, positive surprises. It's not a growth stock, and that's what I prefer. TLS, Tilo's company. What does it do? I highlight it. It is a information technology and solutions. Okay. Below the 50, no buy. FRMI, no interest. ES, Eversource Energy, 4.91% dividend, just had a big growth rate. I wonder if it's involved at all with data centers. Let's look at it. Energy delivery and water distribution, just a boring utility, buying it cheap with a nice dividend. CTLP, Cantaloupe. Love the name. Kind of looks like it's a buyout though, doesn't it? Let's see if there's any lawyer names here. Whoops. No, maybe there's a story there. If you're interested in any of the articles, you just click on it. We're not going to read it now, but it comes up right inside and tells you about what's going on. How cool is that? All included in one low price. Well, not so low. BK, Carnegie Mellon Bank. Banks pulled back a little bit. I like the big banks here. Maybe they've overstayed their welcome. Bank of America is one that I own. I actually bought puts at 47 at 57.50 when it traded up here because it just felt like it was getting in rare air. I'd love to buy it again off the 50. It gives you multiple chances. VNet, actually long this one as well. It's getting up to where it tops, so I might look to take profits on that. PNW, Pinnacle West. Is it a bank or is it something else? It is a Arizona Public Service Company, electric utilities. Who would think? And what are its earnings? We go over here. Oops. I click on it. It stays 4%. I'm going to have a penny on February 24th loss versus 6 cents loss. So that's improvement. I don't like the pattern. So I'll continue to go down the list to see if there's anything I like. And as you could see, compared to a program, TradeStation, TradingView, Metastock, the advantage of having an all-in-one app like I have here is that it's so fast. And here's a nice breakout of IBM. I hate the name, but maybe it's time to think about it again. So lots of ways that I can review the market from a top-down perspective. I want to have some long exposure. Hopefully you're already in gold and silver. But let's see if there's anything else we might have interest in. Come on, close. There you go. So that will conclude the top-down side. Now I can't help myself, and so I like bottoms up a lot. So let's find the best stocks and let's forget about the industry group. Everything's working now. The market's going to the moon. Just watch CNBC. So what I'm going to just show you to be quick is I'm going to kill my filters. There's my 37. And I'm going to show you my favorite 2 scans. A plus. This requires the double momentum scan, which is in Metastock. and it doesn't usually give you a lot of stocks. Let's just look at Akamai. Um, I love trend line breaks. Now the question will be, is it extended? So this thing clearly broke out today. It had a squeeze, momentum, breakout, volume, and a gap. Look at relative strength and OBV perk up. I like it. I like it. I like it. Let's look at earnings are out. February 18th, they're going to have $1.75 versus $1.66. Not a lot of growth. Its PE is only 13. That might be interesting. I think it's going to all be about what the surprise is since everybody knows what the earnings. And again, why did they crush it today? They got a double upgrade. You might want to read it to know why. Okay, I like that one. And you'll notice it's got two momentums in a row. All right, ComScope. Pull back to the 50 breakout. Just don't like where it closed. It might be fine. Credo, getting close. MTSI, big run. Is it high jump too high? Let's see. Nope. Big breakout today. I might look at about earnings. Got 99 cents coming in versus 79. So that's 20%. That's about 30% growth. Trades at a multiple of 50. No dividend. Um, it's fine. Doesn't really do much for me or against me. This one showed up on Metastock yesterday as a bounce, I think. I have traded this stock before. It really looks like it wants to go. So let's just look at when's the earnings? February 23rd. Expecting 95 cents versus $1.13. Not great earnings. It's negative. But I love the uptrend pullback, running the 50 and breaking out. Sleep Number, STGW. Well, these by definition have to have the double momentum. Sticks, Seagate, one of the memory, the SSD and memory players. Beautiful stock. Look at the earnings per share, 277. Going to come in against $2.03. That's a 30% grower. PE is only 29. It's had major surprises, just getting expensive. TTMI, TTM Technologies breaking out after pulling back to the 50. VRDN, Meridian Therapeutics. I like to pull back to the 50 in the breakout. And ZD, um, don't like how it's still got to clear a lot. So that is the A plus scan. And to win, you have to have double momentum. This guy's got triple. You got to have relative strength and OBV breaking out. You can't be above 95, I don't believe. I guess you can be extended, but the weekly bongo's got to be blue. The other signal that I like a lot of signals, but I built in for everybody to clear that is just the A signal. And this is going to require a squeeze with either momentum or a breakout. So let's look at these very quickly. ADTN, there is your squeeze. There's your momentum, breakout, and volume. Look at relative strength and OBV. I don't care about extended. It's not when you're right next to the 200. Not much of a chart pattern, but I like everything else. Where I looked at AKAM, BABA had a big breakout today, broke out above the 50, coming out of a squeeze, still looks good. Beam Therapeutics, big breakout today. They must have said something at JP Morgan. Reached a deal with the FDA for its gene editing drug. Wow, that's pretty exciting. All right, I love the news feature. cDNA, care diagnosis, nice uptrend, pull back to the 50 and a substantial bounce like that. CDZI, cat is, sideways move. Is it getting ready to run? Curb Your Enthusiasm, a REIT, kind of sideways to me. What does it pay for a dividend? Not enough to matter. CYTK, cytokines, they make some heart drugs. I like to see it do something. Right now it's just basing. Denali Therapeutics, a biotech. Eh. Dexicom, below the 200, nothing good happens there. GLDO, Great Lakes Dredge, I think they'd make a dividend. Let's see. Nope, surprisingly not. 23 cents on February 17th, going against 29. Here's Harmony Gold. Here's IBM. JKS is one of a solar stock. Kind of a junky pattern, but it's in an uptrend. Joy, I think this Chinese internet play. KC, Kingsoft Cloud Holdings breaking out. Merix, excuse me, MBX, a biotech stock breaking out to all-time high, or breaking out. Let's see if it's all-time. Might not be. Yeah, it's an IPO breaking out to all-time high. Don't know anything about it. We looked at MTSI. Next Tracker is or Next Power, rather. I call it Next Tracker is another solar company, I believe. Let's see. Solar Tracker. That's where the tracker comes in. Uptrend pullback. Looks like it's breaking out off the 50. I love buying off the 50. Good volume, breakout momentum, relative strength of OPV look good. I like that one. Shoals is another. Solar looks good. Sleep Number we already saw. Seagate, TAL, Education Group, TTMI, Vista Energy is one that is involved, I believe, in data centers. Let's see what it says. Argentina. So maybe it's Vistra, not Vista. We looked at Veridon, Yum China, kind of loosey-goosey, and then ZD we looked at. So I think some of those solar is probably the best of the bunch, NXT. So those are a lot of stocks that are setups. These setups have a high yield for me. I hope you got something out of this review. Again, welcome to the new folks. Anybody that wants the PowerPoint for the Metastock presentation, it's really only valuable if you have Metastock in the app. Just email me at mark@mripro.com. I'll be happy to send you a PDF. Have a great day in the market. Travel day. We'll see. I hope to get a video tomorrow night. Thanks, everybody. Hope you like those new features on the ETF and the peer stocks. I know.